Hello, good day everyone. Welcome to TIMO mock exam or Thailand International Mathematical Olympiad mock exam, your final round review for 2024-2025. So this is for primary 2 students and I am your coach Ruru. Before we proceed to the items, we'll have the class rules discussed first. Turn on your camera, mute your microphones. Well, you can unmute your microphones if you have questions related to our discussion. Please avoid unnecessary annotations. Please don't draw on screen so that you will not distract your classmates. Be attentive, and I encourage you to ask questions so that you can learn more. Use the chat box responsibly, no spamming and no fighting in the chat. So now, let's start. We'll start with the logical thinking questions. Question number 1. We have Yuki, who has 9 sweaters. Robert has 5 fewer sweaters than Yuki. Thomas has 3 more sweaters than Yuki. How many sweaters do they have in total? So we have 3 characters in our question, no? We have Yuki. We also have Robert and Thomas. These 3 people got different number of sweaters. Yuki got 9 and Robert got 5 fewer sweaters than Yuki. So when we say fewer, 5 fewer, so he got less number of sweaters, no? So Robert got only 4 sweaters. As for Thomas, who got 3 more sweaters than Yuki, 3 more, so just add 3 and you will get 12. Meaning Thomas has 12 sweaters. Now we are asked, how many sweaters do they have in total? So all we have to do is add. Now that we have subtotals for Robert and Thomas, and we know that Yuki got 9. So 9 plus 4, that is 13, plus 12, then the correct answer is 25. For number 1, the answer is 25. There are 25 sweaters in total, Yuki plus Roberts plus Thomas. Alright, that's for number 1. Let's proceed to number 2. For number 2, according to the pattern shown below, how many circles is or are there within the first 23 symbols in the following sequences, counting from the left? So in this item, we have how many symbols? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So we're only given up to 15 symbols and we are asked of how many circles there will be if there are 23 symbols in the pattern. So before we work on this and figure out how many circles, we study first the pattern. What really is going on in the pattern? So you have a square, a star, a triangle, circle, and another triangle. And the pattern repeats every 5 symbols. So the pattern repeats every 5 symbols. So since we're looking for the number of circles in the 23rd, up to the 23rd symbol, how many circles there will be? So we have to figure out how would the pattern would look like if there are 23 symbols, and so that we can count. So the symbol ends here, or I mean the pattern ends there, another set, second set, third set, fourth set. And we know that there are 5 symbols in every set. And there. So we have 23 now. So how many circles do we see? 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are 4 circles out from the 23 symbols in our pattern. So the correct answer is 4. 4 circles for number 2. All right, that's for number 2. Then we proceed to number 3. For number 3, when Jack was born, his mother was 25 years old. When Jack is 19 years old, how old will his mother be? In this question, we have 2 characters, Jack and mother. When Jack was born, so technically at that time, he was 0 years old. At birth, he was 0 years old, and his mother was already 25. Now, when Jack is 19, how old will his mother be? So, Jack was born. At that time, her mom was 25. His mom was 25. If Jack will grow and age at 19, then mother will also obviously age, no? So mother will be how old? 25 years old plus 19 years as Jack gets older. So the mom will also gets older. That would be 44. Therefore, Jack's mom, when he will be 19, the mother will be 44 years old. The correct answer for number 3 is 44. Again, the correct answer for number 3 is 44. Now we move forward to number 4. According to the pattern shown below, what should be the English letter filled in the space provided? We can see that the letters seems follow 2 different sequence. Letter B and letter E, H, then K, then the blank must be related. Because B, E, H, K, they follow the English alphabet, though they are skipping few letters, but they follow the regular sequence. As to letter M, letter K, I, G, and E, they follow the reverse alphabet, correct? They follow the reverse English alphabet. To show you the connection here, here's an illustration of how the pattern goes on. So we have letter B, then E, right? It skipped 2 letters C and D. Then from E to H, B, E, H, K, and the blank would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So B, E, H, K, 1, 2, 3, 4. Those letters, to reach to the next term, we should be skipping 2 letters in the regular sequenced alphabet. As in B, skip C, D, then the next term E. So for the odd number terms, letter B is the first 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. The odd number terms are sequenced according to the regular sequence of the alphabet. But you should be skipping 2 letters. For B to E, C, D. E to F, 2 letters F, G, and so on. Therefore, from letter K, since it's a 7th letter, an odd number, the next letter for letter K would be the 9th term, right? So you should be skipping 2 letters as well. Skipping LM. So K, skipping 2 letters LM, you will have N. Meaning, the missing letter is letter N. But of course, we shouldn't end there. We observe first, we also confirm, is our observation correct in the other terms of the sequence. We have letter M, letter K, letter I, letter G, and letter E. These letters are even terms, right? And these letters must be also connected, and these letters are only skipping 1 letter, but they are in reverse order. When say reverse, instead from A, B, C, D, at reverse, they are at Z, Y, X. Right? Z, Y, X. So from L, the reverse from M is L, K. So J, K, L, M is the correct one, but we are at reverse, so it's M, L, K, J. Anyways, for number 4, the correct answer really is letter N. So to answer the question, according to the pattern shown below, what should be the English letter to fill in the space provided? It's letter N. Okay. Now for number 5. 23rd of January 2025 is a Thursday. What day of the week is 4th of March that year? So, if this is the question, we know what to do. Okay. So we have this question. Of course, you're familiar with this question already. We have to know first the number of days between the two given dates, January 23rd and March 4th. And the year involved or included in this question is 2025. 2025 is not a leap year. How do we know if it's a leap year or not? The year must be divisible by 4 if it is a leap year. For example, last year, 2024, when you divide it by 4, it is divisible by 4. Right? That there are 500. It is divisible by 4, the answer is 506. So it is very divisible by 4. But 2025 will give you a remainder of 1. Therefore, if it is not divisible by 4, just like 2025, it is not a leap year. So we have to know if the year is a leap year or not, especially if we will be dealing with the month of February. If it's a leap year, the month of February will have 29 days, and if it's not, there will only be 28 days, and it will affect our calculation. So January 23 is a Thursday, and that is given. So what we have to count here would be the days from January 23 to January 31, because how many days are there in January? There are 31 days. So 31 minus 23, there are 8 days to count from January 23 to 31. Next, the month of February. For the month of February, since it is not a leap year, so we will be only counting 28 days. And for the month of March, until only at March 4. So 4 days for that. Now we have to know the total number of days, 8 plus 28 plus 4. 8 plus 4 is 12 plus 28, that is 40. So there are 40 days between January 23 and March 4. Since we know now the number of days between the two dates, we divide it by the number of days in a week. Why? 40 divided by 7, so that don't have to consider the loop. We have to cut the loop. What I'm trying to say is, for example, today is a Saturday. 7 days from now is another Saturday. So that will keep on going. So we have to know how many sets of sevens are there. And the number of days between of the two dates, January 23 and March 4. 40 divided by 7 is 5. 5 times 7, 35. Subtract, then you will get a remainder of 5. In other words, there are 5 weeks and 5 days between January 23 and March 4. If there are 5 weeks and 5 days, the 5 weeks will give you the same date. Okay? If January 23, 5 weeks forward is a Thursday. So if January 23 is a Thursday, 5 weeks forward will also be a Thursday. So what is important is the remainder. So from Thursday, since January 23 is a Thursday, 5 weeks from there, from that date, will be a Thursday again. So we will use the remainder to know the exact day of March 4. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. 5 days, or the remainder 5, is the 5 days after the 5th week. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Meaning, March 4 is a Tuesday. 5 days after the 5th week is a Tuesday. So I hope you were able to follow the solution for number 5. Now we proceed to number 6. Given Donald's father has 7 children, how many brothers and sisters does Donald have? So to make the question more understandable, the question is just asking, how many siblings does Donald have if Donald's father has 7 children? So there are 7 children. Donald is included. So we subtract we subtract 1. 1 represents Donald. So the question is very easy as long as you understand what it's trying to ask. The correct answer for number 6 is 6. Donald has 6 brothers or sisters. Basically 6 siblings. All right. Now we proceed to number 7. And number 7 will be the first arithmetic question for this set. Number 7, we find the value of the expression 11 plus 7 plus 26 plus 4 plus 33 plus 19. The expression is not that long, but it is best to pair the numbers when we add. In that, we will have a multiple of 10 to add. Diba? It's easier to add 10 plus 20 plus 40. You know that is 70. So in this case, we will do the same. We pair 11 to 19. Why? It is best to pair, in adding, it is best to pair the numbers according to their unit digit. So the unit digit of 11 and 19 is 1 and 9. 1 plus 9 is a 10. So there you will get a multiple of 10. 30 is a multiple of 10. Next pair, 7 and 33. 7 plus 33 is a 40, another multiple of 10. Last pair, 26 and 4. 26 plus 4 is a 30. So, all we have to do now is add 30 plus 40, 70, plus 30, that's equal to 100. So, for number 7, the correct answer is 100. So, what did we do here? I also marked every number once I'm done adding them. I would mark them or scratch them off so that I will not overcount and I know I have already included them in my calculation. Okay, let's move forward to number 8. In number 8, if A and B are both one-digit numbers, what is the value of A plus B if the equation below is correct? Um, the question seems intimidating at first, but if we will be able to understand it, it's actually easy. A and B are just one-digit numbers. So from this part of the equation already, if A is a one-digit number and is equal to 2, if you drop A, it should be equal to 2. Unless if A and B will give an 18. But it will not because if we will assume that A is equal to 2, the equation would look like this. 2 plus 2B is equal to 28. Meaning, all we have to do, as we assume that A is equal to 2, we can try subtracting 2 from 8 to know what is B. B is equal to 8 minus 2. So B is equal to 6. So we complete the equation now where it would look like this. 2 plus 26, because B is equal to 6, as we assumed that A is equal to 2. There, we have now a correct equation. So, A is equal to 2, B is equal to 6, and to answer the question, let's go back to the question, what is asked? We are asked of the value of A plus B. If A is equal to 2 and B is equal to 6, then when we add them, 2 plus 6 is equal to 8. Therefore, the correct answer for number 8 is 8. Okay, I hope you understood the process for number 8. So we move forward now to number 9. We find the value of this quite long expression. As you can see, from the first pair, it's asking 3 minus 4. And that is a negative 1. So, the best thing to do with item similar with number 9 is to apply the same principle that, for example, math problems like, what if you have 18 fruits? Then you gave away 16 of the fruits to your friend. But your mom gave you 20 more. So you shared 22 fruits to a classmate. But your father sent you 30 more fruits. So how many fruit do you have left? So the same principle with this item, though there are no objects involved, only numbers, you would answer that question with a solution that you have to know how many fruits in total do you have, and then you subtract the number of fruits that you gave away so that you will know how much fruit do you have left. Correct? So in this item, we will apply that where we add first all the plus values. Those are technically the fruits that you received. So you have positive 3 or plus 3, then the plus 10, the plus 12, and the plus 25, and the plus 27. So these are the fruits that you were able to receive. The numbers that you can add. So we answer them. That would be 13, 13 plus 27, 40, and we have 12 plus 25. This is 37. So this is equal to 77. Next, what about the fruits that you gave away? So the minus. 4, 6, 19, and 21. Yes, we add them because as we add them, it's easier to subtract the total to 77. The total of 4 plus 6 plus 19 plus 21 is, this is 10, and this is 40. So we subtract how much? 40 plus 10, so we subtract 50 from 77, and you will get the correct answer, 27. So going back to the principle of the receiving and giving away of fruits, you have a total of 77 fruits, and you will be giving away 50, that you will be left with 27 fruits. So the same principle. All right, now we move forward to number 10. In number 10, we find the value of the expression 12 times 4 plus 12 times 5 minus 24 times 3. In this question, as we study the expression 12 times 4 plus 12 times 5 minus 24 times 3, we can observe that the value of 12 is used twice. And it so happened that 24 is a product of 12 times 2. So at first, we can rewrite our expression first. 12 times 4 plus 12 times 5 minus 12 times 2 times 3. The 12 times 2 is just the same with 24, correct? In that, we can now isolate our 12s. You have 12, scratch. Then you are to multiply it with 4 and 5, correct? 4, 5, and 2 times 3, which is minus 6. So as we scratch the 12s, we have 2 times 3 here, so that is a minus 6. Therefore, we are to multiply 12 with 4 plus 5, 9, minus 6, 3, which is equal to 36. Well, this solution is a shortcut technique, no? To ensure or to double check that our answer 36 is correct, we can actually do it by answering the terms by pair or per term. 12 times 4, 48. 12 times 5, 60. 24 times 3, 72. Plus, then minus. 48 plus 60, 108. You subtract 72, 8 minus 2, 6, 10 minus 7, 3, 36. Well, You can answer it this way or the previous solution, previous style. It's up to you where you will be comfortable in answering such item, but make sure you have accounted all the values in the expression. Now we're in number 11. We find the value of the expression 16 times 12 and 12 times 5. Again, you can just directly do 5 times 16, 5 times 6, 30, 5 times 1, 5 times 3, 5 times 1, 1 plus 3, 80. So we're done with that pair. And then we multiply 12 times 5. 5 times 2, 10. 5 times 1, 5 plus 1, 60. So 80 times 60, that is 4,800. Another technique. Another technique would be 16 times 5 times 12 times 5. You can see that 16 and 12 can be divisible by 2. They are even numbers. So 16 is just like 8 times 2. 12 is just like 6 times 2. Bring down times 5 and times 5. What you can see now is that you can multiply 2 and 5, 2 and 5, and you will get 10 and 10. So you have 8 times 10 and 6 times 10. 8 times 10, 80. 6 times 10, 60. So the same. You have 80 times 60, 4,800. So in this item, just like number 10, the previous item, you can answer an expression in many different ways. It's up to you, where you will be comfortable, and always double check if your answer is actually correct. Now, let's move forward to number 12. I think this is the last item for arithmetic. We find the value of the expression 24 divided by 4 plus 26 divided by 2 plus 28 divided by 7 plus 30 divided by 5. So you have two operations, division and addition. Let's divide the values first. First, quotient, 24 divided by 4, 6. 26 divided by 2, 13. 28 divided by 7, 4. 30 divided by 5, 6. All we have to do now is add. According to the expression, we add the results per division. As you can see there, then you have the additions or the plus values. 6 plus 13, 19. 4 plus 6, 10. Total, 29. So the value of the expression is 29. For number 12, the answer is 29. So let's have now the next topic. We have number theory. For number theory, our first item, number 13, we fill in the blanks with plus and minus to make the equation below correct. And there's an instruction that once we figure out the answer, we write down the complete equation on the answer sheet. So please make sure that you follow the instruction given per question. Here we have 9 minus, blank 5, blank 8, blank 13 must be equal to 19. The technique here is we assume that all the values are to be added first. If we add all the values, what would be the result? 9 plus 5, 14. 14 plus 8, 22. Plus 13, 35. If we assume that all the numbers are to be added, the result is 35. So what to do with that assumption that you have 35 if we add all of them? We can use 35 and subtract the original result, 19, and the difference is 16. Now, what to do with the difference, 16? We divide it by 2, and the answer is 8. What to do with 8? 8 is the value that you should be actually subtracting to the whole equation. So, it would look like 9 plus 5 minus 8 plus 13. Let's check if it works. 9 plus 5, 14. Minus 8, 6. Plus 13, 19. Okay? So, how did we do it? We assume first that all to be added. As we get the result, for the sum, we get the difference between the total sum if all are added and the original result. In this case, we have 35 minus 19, and that is 16. The difference will be divided by 2, and as we divide the difference by 2, we get 8, and that value should be the one subtracted in the original equation to make it correct. So I hope you guys follow that. So now we have number 14. In number 14, the numbers follow an arithmetic sequence. But we are asked, what is the ninth term of the following sequence? In this item, we are only given from the first, second, third, fourth, and the fifth. So what would be the sixth, the seventh, the eighth to know what is ninth? Well, there is a formula that I hope you're already familiar with. But let's see first what is the difference or how do the sequence goes on from left to right. 15 to 22, it increases. So it's a plus 7. It's also a plus 7 from 22 to 29. And it's consistent until to the last given term, 43, that the difference between 36 to 43 is 7. In that, we now know the common difference, 7. So we apply to the formula, first term plus or minus the missing term n minus 1 times the common difference. Now, let's complete the formula. The first term is 15. Plus or minus. Since it is increasing, a plus 7, so it should be a plus. If it is decreasing, then it's a minus. But in this item, it's increasing. What is the missing term? 9. We subtract 1 and multiply to the common difference, 7. So that's it. We have now completed and substituted according to formula. 15 plus 8 times 7. 15 plus 8 times 7, 56. 15 plus 56, 71. Therefore, the correct answer, or the ninth term, is 71. If you have extra time, you can also double check if you're not confident with your calculation. Since it's only a plus 7, you just add plus 7 until to the ninth term. And I assure you that the ninth term will still be 71 as you plus 7 manually. Okay, now we proceed to number 15. 12 students took part in a mathematics test. in which their total score is even. Given 4 of the students have odd number of scores, and 4 of the students have even number of scores, with that remain at most how many remaining student or students has or have an odd number of scores? Well, if the 12 students, the total is even, and given that the 4 students have odd number of scores, so each of them have odd score each. Because it's written, 4 of the students have odd number of scores, not the total, but their scores are odd. And the other 4 students got even score each, right? Have even number of scores. Okay. So the technique would be, if the 4 students got odd score each, we assume that their score is 3. So 4 times 3 for the odds. So that is 12, which is even. Now, for the even scores, because even scorers, there are also 4 of them, we assume that their score is 2. So 4 times 2, 8. So even. Now, if the other 4 students, their score is unknown, but we have to determine at most how many. If we are asked of at most, then we try the maximum possible value, which in our case is 4. If we try that their score is even, 4 times 2, 8, even for example, will it be equal to the total even score according to the condition that the 12 of them, that their total will be even? Let's see. 12 plus 8 for the first 8 students is equal to 20. When we add the 4 times 2 for the unknown scores of the 4 students that we assumed that maybe are even, so we add 8. So this is equal to 28. And according to the condition, we are following it, that it is even. 28 is an even score or an even total. Therefore, the most number of remaining students, all of the remaining 4 students are actually, or do actually have even, sorry. If we try, oh, sorry. The question is asking odd number of scores pala. So we try 4 times 3. So it's equal to 12. So 4 of them, it will still give you the same result. 12 plus 12, 24 plus 8, 32. I'm sorry. So 32. Still, it's an even score. So to answer the question, at most how many of the remaining students, the 4 of them, could get odd number. So we assume that their score is 3. So 4 times 3 is 12. As we add it to the other result, it will give a total of an even score. So to answer number 15, the answer is 4. All right. Now we proceed to the next item. Number 16. What is the largest two-digit positive number that is divisible by 2 and 3? So in this, we use, since 2 and 3 are very small, we use their LCM, 2 and 3. 2 and 3, their least common multiple is 6. From 6, we use the largest the two-digit number that exists, which is 99. Divide it by 6. 1 times 6, 39. 39 divided by 6 6 times 6, 36 with the remainder of 3. There's a remainder of 3, so all we have to do is 99, subtract the remainder, 96. Meaning, 96 divided by 6 is just 16, according to the calculation, 99 divided by 6. So, 96 divided by 6 is 16. In that case, we can also determine the largest two-digit positive number that is divisible by 2 and 3 using the LCM 6, that it's actually 96. So to answer the question, what is the largest two-digit positive number divisible by 2 and divisible by 3? You can also check, divide it by 2, divided by 3. It is actually 96. So for number 17, how many two-digit even number or numbers divisible by 7 is or are there? So we are only limited to two-digit even numbers, right? So 7 is not included. But let's list down. We have 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56, 63, 70, 77, and 84. And then 91, then 98. These are the multiples of 7. When we say multiples of 7, they can also be divided by 7. Their factors include 7. 98 divided by 7, for example. The answer is 13. 13 times 7. 7 times, sorry, not 13. 14. 14 times 7. 7 times 4, 28. 7 times 1, 7. Plus 2, 98. So you can see, these numbers are all divisible by 7 because these are skip count by 7 also, starting from 7. So, 7 is not included. 21 not included. All the odd values are not included because we are only asked to count and determine the number of even digits that is, even numbers that is divisible by 7. Two-digit even numbers. Scratch this also. So, how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 two-digit even numbers divisible by 7. So to answer, it's 7 for number 17. Let's now move forward to number 18. Find the smallest four-digit odd number without repeated digits. For number 18. So 4-digit odd number without repeated digits. Well, the smallest digits are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But for only to do, these are the smallest digits, not necessarily odd. So if we are looking for 4-digit odd numbers, as long as the unit digit is odd and the other parts and the other place values could be even, as long as the unit digit is odd. Well, we cannot use 0 as our thousands value because that is not a 4-digit anymore. So we use the smallest, next smallest to 0 is 1. But we can use 0 as our hundreds place to lessen the value since we are to find the smallest. The next is 2. 0, 1, 2 are now used. And since we're looking for odd number, then, and without repeated digits, we cannot use 1 again. So we have to use 3 instead. That the smallest 4-digit odd number without repeated digit is 1023 or 1023. Easy. For number 19. 19 is the first geometric question. Oh, here. We are to count the number of line segments in the given figure. Well, before we start, let's remember that these are called points. And if they are in one line, they are called collinear points. All right? They are called collinear points. If there are two collinear points in a line, just like this one in red, that will give one line segment. But if you have three collinear points in a line, that will give you how many line segments? 1, 2, 3. From point A, B, C, point A, B, and point B, C, and point A to C are considered line segments. Therefore, if there are 3 collinear points, there will also be 3 line segments. It will create 3 line segments. Next, if you have 4 collinear points, how many line segments will it create? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the whole thing 6. It will create 6 line segments. But in our case here, we are only to deal 3 collinear points. So let's count. How many 3 collinear points do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 sets. And the rest, and well, there's only one, which is this one. A 2-point segment. If there are 4 sets of 3 collinear points, and remember, if there are 3 collinear points, if there are 4 of those, so that will create 12 line segments. And for the 2 points only, there's only one set, so 1 times 1, that would be 1. That for number 19, the correct answer is 13. There are 13 line segments in this item. Next, number 20. How many squares are there in the figure below? Well, we have to remember that a square will always be a square as long as the 4 sides are equal. Meaning, if this side is 4 centimeters and the other sides are also 4 centimeters, then it is a square. It could, in such example in the given, it could look like this, as long as the outer sides, the main sides, the 4 sides are still equal. This is considered a bigger square. So let's count the square per row. The first square, the smaller ones, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there are 7 for that. And for the bigger squares, 1, right? That's 1. And 2. So there are 2. And for number 20, is it final that we can only see 9? Yes, you can only see 9 squares for number 20. For number 20, the correct answer is 9. There are 9 squares in the figure. Number 21. We have cubes of the same size and shape that are stacked together is shown in the figure below. At least how many square face or faces of the cubes can be seen if observing from the front? And where's our front? Of course, the one right in front of you. That's your front view. So this is the first square from the top, 2, then 3. From the bottom, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. For number 21, the correct answer is 8. There are 8 square faces that we can see if we view this figure from our front view. 8 square faces. Number 22. A pyramid has 20 edges. How many faces does this pyramid have? So let's recall the formula and getting the number of faces. To get the number of faces, you have edges, you divide it by 2, then that is equal to n, then n plus 1. Or to shorten the formula, it is e divided by 2 plus 1. To know the number of faces, we are given 20 edges. We divide it by 2. The answer is 10 plus 1, 11. Therefore, a pyramid with 20 edges have 11 faces. Again, by following the formula E, edges divided by 2 plus 1, to get the number of faces, that is 20 divided by 2 plus 1. And the correct answer for number 22 is 11. For number 23, at most, how many line or lines is or are drawn if we join all different pairs of points given 6 points on a plane? So, 6 points on a plane. So, it could be this plane, a square with 6 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then, if you will be joining them, simply we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you have 6 points. So we just count the number of line segments that we can create as we join all these points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have now 5 for the point to point. Next, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have 4 with 3 points included, meaning 1, 2, 3. There are 4 sets of that. Next, with the 4 points, the 4 points include 1, 2, then 3. So there are 3. Correct? Next. With the 5 points. 5 points meaning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In this case, we have 1, then 2. So there are 2. And of course, the whole thing with 6 points, there's only 1. The whole thing, the whole joint plane. So to add all of this, we have 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. That would be 15. That the correct answer for number 23 is there are 15 line segments if we join all the 6 points in a plane. Okay, for number 24. According to the pattern shown below, what is the figure in the space provided? The space here is, it means this blank. What should be the figure there? So, of course, you observe the one or the ones before that blank. We can observe that the pattern goes rectangle, then a triangle, a square, a triangle, and a circle. Then it repeats, but there's a there's an alteration, which would be a rectangle, triangle, I mean, a circle, a triangle, triangle, then a circle. Then it repeats. That the next, like the third is, we're looking for the third. This one is the third. It repeats just like the first one. Like there's a triangle, a circle, triangle, a circle. So it repeats. So this is the third set. So the fourth set, the triangle, are together. In the fifth set, the triangle are separated by the circle. So in the sixth set here, that since it's an alternate, the sets are in alternate order where at first the triangles were separated, in the second they are together or directly beside each other, and so on. So as we follow the pattern, the previous set from the blank, the triangles are separated. So in the missing set here, the triangles must be beside each other. That the correct answer for number 24 is triangle. For number 24, it's a triangle. Next item, the first question for combinatorics. It's quite a long question, but this one should be easy. Given there are two different ways for us to walk from the restaurant to the theme park. So let's draw a restaurant. This is a restaurant. So there's a fork and a spoon. That is a resto. To the theme park. The theme park look like this, like a park. Then we have a playground. We'll give the playground like a seesaw. I mean, a swing. Two swings for the playground. Okay. So what's written? There are two different ways from the resto to the park. And four different ways from the park to the playground. Then, from the playground to the ferry pier. So we forgot to write for the ferry pier. So like a boat ferry pier. So how many ways? There are three different ways. One, two, three. So 2 for here, 4 for here, and 3 for there. So these are our options if we walk from resto to park to playground to the ferry pier. So to finally know how many ways, from resto to park to playground, since we have the all options, so 2 options from resto to park, multiplied to another set of options from park to playground. Then from playground to the ferry pier is 3. So 2 times 4 times 3, that is 24. That there are 24 ways for you to travel Rasto to park to playground to ferry pier. To explain further, for example, we will um be using the routes. First route here, 1A, small a. Then, yeah, so 1A. So the combination would be you will using route A. But you can also use the route 2BB, 2BB. You can also use the route 1AB, and so on. You can use 2AB. So to account all these routes and ways, all you have to do is multiply the options. 2 times 4 times 3. Well, to finalize, number 25, the correct answer is 24. There are 24 ways. Next item, number 26. Among the values of the following expressions, at most, how many two-digit numbers is or are there? So, it's very obvious what to do, that among the values of the following expression, so the values are not yet really there. So we answer the expressions given to get the values per expression. 6 times 4, 24. 30 minus 12, 18. 44 minus 35, 9. 50 divided by 5, 10. 19 minus 5, 14. 2 plus 7, 9. 42 divided by 6 is 7. So 24, 18, 9, 10, 14, 9, 7 are our values in the expression. But we are only asked of how many two-digit numbers is or are there. So we scratch 9, 9, and 7, and we're left with 24, 18, 10, and 14. And there are 4 of them that are in two-digit numbers. 4 values that are 2 digits. Number 27. If we construct two-digit numbers by using 4 digits, 0, 3, 5, and 8, without repetition, what is the largest possible value of the sum of these two-digit numbers? So we arrange our number pool. We have 8, 5, 3, 0. We arrange them in decreasing order to know the biggest numbers that we can use as our tens digit, because we're asked to form 2 sets of two-digit numbers. The biggest numbers are 8 and 5. So we will use them as our tens place value. We can interchange 85 and 83 and 50, or 80 and 53. Both will give the same sum of 133. 133. So, to answer, what is the largest possible value of the sum? 133. What did we do? We arranged the numbers in decreasing order for us to identify the first 2 biggest digits that we have, to use them as our tens place value, as our tens value, so that we can create and pair them to create the 2 sets of two-digit numbers and get the maximum sum. Number 28. If we choose 3 different numbers from 2, 7, 4, 8, and 9 to form three-digit even numbers, what is the largest number among these numbers? So let's understand the question. We have to choose three different numbers to form three-digit even numbers. What is the largest number among these numbers? So we write this number in decreasing. So we arrange them. 9, 8, 7, 4, 2. 9, 8, 7, 4, 2. Then we choose three different numbers so that we can create the largest three-digit even number. We don't have to really list down all the three-digit even numbers. That's only like a trick part of the question. So we just focus on what is asked to know what is the largest number among the three-digit even numbers. So the largest three digits is 987, but it is odd. Therefore, this is not the correct answer. So it should be 984. Because now that it is even, we are asked that among the three-digit even numbers, what is the largest? And that is 984. 984 is the correct answer for number 28. Now for number 29, we separate 29 as the sum of two different positive integers. How many ways is or are there? And there's an instruction that we consider, for example, the 5 plus 6 and 6 plus 5 as the same method. Well, to get the sum of 29, all the two different positive integers, we have 1 plus 28, it is equal to 29, correct? And so on, 2 plus 27 is equal to 29. Well, to make our lives easy, what we can do is, we divide 29 by 2, you will have 14.5. From 14, that's the exact middle number. So, using that, we will know the last pair. 14 and 15. Both sandwiches 14.5 as their middle, correct? So that is the last pair. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, the numbers from the left here, they are increasing. And the numbers from the bottom, from the right, they are decreasing. And since we don't, we count 5 plus 6 and 6 plus 5 as the same. So it's like telling that 15 plus 14 and 14 plus 15 is counted as 1. In that case, from 1, 2, 3, etc. up to 14 plus 15, those are only the pairs. So this is the indicator that there are 14 pairs of two different positive integers that will give a sum of 29. So the answer for number 29 is 14. And now we're down to the last number, 30. Natalie has 51 coins. 5 $1 coins, 4 $2 coins, and 3 $5 coins. At most, how many copper cups can she buy for a cup costed $4? Okay. So you have 5 $1 coin. Then you also have 4 $2 coins and 3 $5 coins. This is equal to 5, this is equal to 8, and this is equal to 15. So we calculate and the total is $28. Therefore, Natalie has a total of $28. And if she wants to buy a cup which costed $4, how many cups can she buy from her money? So $28 divided by $4 is equal to 7. Therefore, Natalie can buy 7 cups using her money. For number 30, the correct answer is 7. So that's it for the TIMO mock exam 2024-2025 final round review for primary 2 students. And again, I am your coach, Ruru. I hope you learned something. Good luck!